there is normally a gap between what is desirable, what is it that we really want, and how our days, our weeks, our months, our weekends, our years actually pass.
So let's look into some simple tools that we want to bounce back and forth that can be helpful for creating such a use of time qualitatively and quantitatively. The first thing is, what do I do with my social life? Very simple. Take an inventory of how you act socially. Typically, we interact, or we have a lot of unconscious social interactions that then can, prolong in a way that maybe it's not really what we planned for, and are not fulfilling because we feel, okay, we are looking at the clock, the person's trying to tell us a story, or we get ourselves into a chit-chat and 3 hours are gone, we didn't even know what happened. So social interactions can be quite a killer of your routine and of your timetable. And nevertheless, they are extremely important, of course, for nourishing your soul. So the advice in balancing your social life and social time spending is put quality over quantity. And this can only be done if you spend your social time consciously. So if you have a talk to a friend, make it deep. Go to something essential. Rather spend 20-30 minutes deep time together and on a phone call that speaks about the soul and about the depth of what currently is challenging and wonderful in our lives, rather than spending a whole lot of chit-chat about meaningless things and making jokes and so forth that will not really enrich you. Rather have 20 minutes soul time and one good joke than 20 hours of meaningless time and trillions of jokes that just exhaust you, basically. This is something where people often come to a place where they say, well, the people in my life, they don't serve me in this very brilliant, wise time spending that I'm into. No. It starts with you. How do you relate to people? Don't be passive about this. The two of us live by this idea to give before you ask. So when I'm spending time with people, I have always in the back of my mind, or rather to say in the back of my heart, to leave them with something of value, as much as I can. If it is possible, then I would like to give them something of value in this even 5 minutes that we spend. Asking them a deep question, telling them something that I find inspiring, sharing a beautiful embrace, if possible, in the country that you currently live in, under the law, whatever we have with masks and so forth. So try to insert consciously purpose to what you are doing socially, love into what you're doing socially, in order to create a balanced, qualitative, beautiful social life.
Next tip will touch on routine. Basically, if you want to understand your schedule, there is this hidden power of routine, which we are conscious of somehow, but now we aim to really bring it to the light. When we choose our action, there are two forces, a conscious force and a subconscious force, a voluntary force and involuntary, automatic force. The automatic force will tend to choose what you chose yesterday. It's not, you don't have YouTube torrents that teach you how to have the willpower to brush your teeth. Or maybe there are. But mostly you can just brush your teeth the next day because you've done it so many times before and the momentum is already set. Now, the rules of routine And if you want to have your autopilot, your automatic, involuntary part going with you as like a backwind, we need to be very attentive to its mechanisms. Namely, the rules of routine is what you do today will echo tomorrow. What you've done yesterday will echo today. And the autopilot, the unconscious part of us, will tend to repeat that. So if we are following what we did yesterday, you come home from work at 7, you sit in front of the television, watch television, at 11 you're tired, you sleep. If that's the routine, it will have a momentum. And then if at 7 you want to do something else, you will have to fight that momentum of watching television. Or this is my zone out time. Saturday evening is my zone out time. Sunday morning is my sleep in time. And so forth. There is a routine there. And it needs to be handled consciously and attentively. So, if we want to create a positive routine, it's very good to do it with small steps. If you feel good today and inspired and have aspiration to do something of meaning, then do something of meaning and establish there a routine from 7 to 7:15, spiritual practice. 7:15, zone out in front of television until 11. Very good start. The next day will be easier. First day is very difficult. Next day will be easier. Third day will be easier. And after a while, your system will search for it, will ask for it, because spiritual routine is good for you. Spiritual practice is good for you, and your system will ask for it. In the beginning, your voluntary part will have to fight your subconscious part. But by repetition, your routine will be as a backwind. Now, same with breaking negative habits. When you are feeling inspired, when you are feeling good, it's a good moment to break a negative habit. I don't know what you have. Porn on Tuesdays, your porn Tuesday nights. Tuesday you feel fantastic, you feel inspired, you just read a spiritual book, you just heard a lecture, you just had a great meditation in the morning, and you feel not to do it. So when you feel, you hold on and you put a lot of energy the first time, and then be attentive also the next time. Now, when we expand and create a new routine, we need to be very attentive that it's something that we can do. So don't overdo it and don't underdo it. Play a little bit until you figure out, I have this impulse of aspiration, of enthusiasm, that's what I put, and that will repeat. Now, another understanding about routine is that what you do today, you do for many, many days, potentially. So there needs to be much more responsibility. Many people, they were practicing for a week, for a month, for a year, and then they stopped. There is the day of stopping. Very foolish. One day you feel bad, you don't feel like meditating, you think, okay, one day I will stop. No, but that was your last day. 10 years passed before you did the next meditation. So understand, when it comes and you've already created a good routine, hold it. Don't let go. Even if you feel bad, even if you feel tired, make the effort, have a bad meditation, but hold the continuity of that positive routine. And understand. You say, well, today I don't really feel like increasing. But if you increase today, you will increase also tomorrow. And also on the other day. It's a very big inner deception that you think it's just today. Just today I don't do it. I just smoke one cigarette. I just do this, I don't know what, watch porn just now. Or I get lazy and zone out just today, just today, just today. This is a very common part, a very common argument of our involuntary, unconscious, automatic, and literally lifeless instinctual part. It's not just today. If I do it today, I'll be inclined to do it tomorrow. Yeah, if you want for one sentence from this routine. If I do it today, I'll be inclined to do it tomorrow and in a week and in a month. And therefore, choose far more responsibly what I do today. And once you understand this mechanism, and you don't ignore it, and you don't turn a blind eye to it, with a greater responsibility, you can choose a better routine today.
The next point we want to give you is what our teacher calls full-time yoga. It is said that enlightenment is a full-time job. It is not something that can, just be done on a quick fix 1 hour class of yoga here and there. It needs to be something like everything that we want to do, full of enthusiasm, full of meaning, and also like meaning it really from the inside out. It needs to get a good investment of time. It needs to get a good amount of our attention. If we believe that we can live a spiritual life while, again, investing very little time into spiritual growth, very little time into making actual steps towards enlightenment, it just won't happen. Even if we do practice, but our practice is like sort of with an attitude of, yeah, okay, I'm practicing and then I'm feeling good, it's just not going to happen. In the same way, like when you create a business, you will need to push that business forward. And in the first year, it will be difficult, and then in the second year maybe a little less difficult, and in the third year maybe there's some momentum picked up. But you need to every day invest into your business, and if you want your business to grow, you will need to make another jump, and you will need to think about it and consider it and make decisions and change the structure and so forth. And with the same enthusiasm and engagement, you will need to invest into your spiritual life as well. Therefore, the suggestion is to start practicing bit by bit what we call full-time yoga. And this can be acquired by having ways and even creatively feeling and thinking what are ways for you personally that can work very well in order to practice all the time. Continuously, always practicing 24 hours per day. Now, this sounds a little bit tiring, but it's actually done by adding, Uriel likes to call it micro methods, by adding spiritual practices to everything that you do. If you are in some of the groups within this spiritual school, you know, for example, okay, every time we go to toilet, we make the mind quiet, complete mental void. This could be a way of acquiring, or let's say, mastering a part of your time which is usually used for nothing but quenching a biological urge. Now all of a sudden it becomes even an incentive to practice. So if you can redefine your life, searching exactly for these so-called dead moments which are locked in time, there's just no way not to go to pee unless you become some brilliant yogi that can transmute their urine. Or there's no way to avoid to sometimes stand in a queue, or to wait for something on a phone call, or whatever it might be. Take these moments as an incentive to practice. You can always silence your mind. You can always practice prayer. You can always practice resonance, for example, choosing a wonderful state and tuning into it. Let me resonate with joy right now as I'm waiting for the lawyer to call me back. Joy. Wonderful. Or as I'm anxiously waiting for so-and-so result to come back to me, let me manifest a state of courage. So this could be ways in using your time wisely. Also, if you have maybe some little methods, little techniques that you heard about, using your mind, focusing your mind in a certain way that you just never get around fitting into your busy schedule, fit them into the dead moments. These are perfect moments to use for more and more practice and bring in more and more wonderfully used, meaningful time into your life. One of the major principles that can be very useful to study is this principle of karma yoga. There's whole books by Vivekananda written on karma yoga, also you find in the Bhagavad Gita, And also you find on our YouTube channel, we are starting now a new series on Karma Yoga. And by the way, hit the bell, like and subscribe, and leave a comment wherever you are currently, because it helps us to do what we are doing. So Karma Yoga is an attitude of continuously practicing action, so to say, consciously allowing the universe to act through you, meditating upon your action, meditating as you act, and allowing more and more space for God, for the Supreme, for the universe to create integration through you, to flow with its actions through you, to become aware how you are continuously somehow like a glove that God slips into and moves you around. This fundamental attitude of Karma Yoga can be extremely helpful to come to literally a 24-hour practice that will lead you extremely fast to wonderful results.
This little pointer is spiritual entertainment, or moving towards spiritual entertainment. We will see in a moment what's the story, what's the psychological story of entertainment, and why we feel so needy in front of entertainment. But as long as that neediness is there, the advice is to gradually move towards spiritual entertainment. Now, Ramakrishna, he says very nicely that the mind is like a cloth that you put into a color. Whatever you put it into, that color it will take. If you study a language, you will say some words and think some words of that language. And if you watch a lot of horror movies, you will start to have all sorts of horror things inside of you. And if you watch the news all the time, you will be a little bit like those people in the news, and you will be having a clear one side against another side, and you will have a conflict and so forth. And if you watch a lot of romantic movies, then you will have a lot of romantic thoughts, etc., etc. So whatever entertainment you bring in, so your inner world will be colored. And it is, we swim so much in entertainment, including social media and posts and YouTubes and television and Netflix and porn and news and all that are all forms of entertainment and socializing and drinking or whatever. There are so many, we swim in this ocean of entertainment. Many people in their jobs work a bit and then entertain a bit, work a bit and entertain a bit. That we can barely see the effects on us because we are like fish in the water of entertainment. And if you take it away, you will see very clearly how much you are transformed. If you take a week without any form of entertainment, no news, no porn, no Netflix, no social media, no nothing. Just do your job, and the rest of the time contemplate life, do spiritual practice, walk in the park, have deep conversations. See what happens in a week like that is very extreme, actually, the shift of consciousness that you will face, and also the resistance inside of you, because all these things, as we will see in a moment, are quite addictive. Now, what we can do in order to take this time of entertainment and move it towards something meaningful, we can gradually elevate our entertainment. If you're watching horror movies, dark movies, violent movies, a lot of news, bad news, violent news, watch something more light, just neutral, not so bad. Cartoons, something sweet. Movies with a happy end, something lighter. And then if you are already just kind of entertaining with normal things, maybe intelligent things, you can move further into more and more spiritual movies. Movies that, or shows or documentaries that elevate your heart, but are still kind of feature-ish. And then from there, essentially, if you can move towards the life of saints, the life of spiritual masters, scriptures and spiritual masterpieces. And if you take that, either reading or by now everything is on audiobooks, and you just fill yourself with spiritual information, you will see that it will dye your mind in a very, very different way. You will perceive how different your inner world is doing this small shift. Maybe it's not as entertaining, but it will lift and uplift your heart. Personally, about 1.5 years ago, I stopped completely any kind of non-spiritual entertainment. When I'm by myself, I would watch movies maybe once a month with friends, and normally lives of saints and stuff like that. But it's March, so yeah, a little bit more than 1.5 years, and for me it was revolutionary. Just cutting that out completely eliminating any form of any kind of other entertainment, news, social media, all that, just out. It facilitated such a relief in my mind, and so much it took out from me what I am not. And it relaxed me so much into what I am, and facilitated far deeper meditations and prayers, much more aspiration, also the saving of time, but mostly this inner purity. And it was very difficult. The first month, how much I wanted to know what's happening in the news. I would ask my parents, oh, what's happening with so-and-so? That was my only source, and still is my only source of the news, my mother and my father. Mostly my father. My mother is quite reluctant to give me any information of the world, so I have no idea what's happening there, or very little idea, but inside of me there is space, and flooding myself with so much spiritual information and so much spiritual inspiration really allowed me to enter deeper into the practice.
Hey guys, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content on spirituality, Tantra and more.
And if you want to sign up for our online classes or for our retreats, you can see our website on the description below.
Thank you.